Julius Caesar was dead, but his killers had made one terrible mistake. They believed removing Caesar would restore the Roman Republic. Instead, they created a power vacuum. The fragile government immediately fractured, plunging the streets of Rome into violent uncertainty. And into that chaos stepped a young man almost nobody expected to become Rome's greatest ruler. His name was Octavian. By murdering a dictator to save the Republic, the assassins unwittingly set the stage for a single ruler to claim all of Rome's expanding territories. Octavian was Caesar's adopted heir. To the hardened politicians of Rome, he looked too young, too fresh-faced, and entirely too inexperienced to survive the lethal arena of Roman politics. But he possessed a weapon far more dangerous than age: absolute patience. Octavian knew he couldn't conquer Rome alone. To avenge his father and secure his own survival, he needed to build a temporary strategic alliance. He forged the Second Triumvirate, aligning himself with two veteran, highly dangerous commanders, Lepidus and the ruthless Mark Antony. Bound by a shared desire for vengeance, they hunted down Caesar's killers, finally crushing Brutus and Cassius at the Battle of Philippi in 42 BC. But victory destroyed their shared purpose. The alliance fractured, splitting the Roman world strictly by geography. Octavian took control of the West, while Mark Antony claimed the wealthy East. This massive division of land and military resources made a final civil war a mathematical certainty. The assassins were gone, but the real war for absolute control of Rome had just begun. Looking for a decisive advantage, Antony allied himself with Cleopatra, the powerful and immensely wealthy Queen of Egypt. Octavian seized the opportunity. He launched a brilliant, aggressive propaganda campaign, convincing the Senate that Antony had abandoned his Roman values to serve a foreign queen. The boiling point arrived in 31 BC. Their massive armies and fleets finally collided off the coast of Greece at the Battle of Actium. Octavian's calculated strategy shattered the enemy fleets. Trapped and outmaneuvered, Antony and Cleopatra were forced to abandon their forces and flee. They retreated to Egypt, where they both later died by suicide, permanently removing the last major threats to Octavian's rule. Octavian was now the last man standing. He alone commanded all of Rome's armies, wealth, and expanding territories. Now, Rome faced a terrifying question. Would Octavian declare himself dictator and risk the exact same bloody fate as Caesar? Or would he restore the Republic and surrender his supreme power? Octavian chose a highly theatrical, clever path. In 27 BC, he stood before the Senate and formally returned all his emergency powers to them. It worked perfectly. A grateful Senate immediately gave him back unprecedented authority, along with a new, divine-sounding honorary name, Augustus. Looking at this ancient silver coin, you can see how he distributed his image to the public. He was now the most powerful man in Rome, yet he carefully avoided calling himself king, presenting himself instead as the humble protector of Roman traditions. Augustus achieved something Caesar never could. He successfully dismantled the Republic from the inside, without ever openly destroying its traditions. Behind that carefully controlled image, Augustus reorganized the army, strengthened the government, built massive infrastructure, and expanded Roman territory. After decades of brutal civil war, Rome finally entered a long period of relative stability. This era became known as the Pax Romana, the Roman peace. The Republic still existed in name, but the age of emperors had officially begun, kicking off a golden age of wealth, architecture, and culture. Yet, power would soon pass into the hands of successors with very different personalities. Absolute power is a dangerous tool. Some emperors would become legendary. Others would become monsters, ruling through fear and paranoia. And one of them would soon show Rome exactly how terrifying absolute power could become when a ruler loses their mind. To be continued in Episode 6. Next episode, The Emperors of Fear, Caligula, Nero, and more. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to History Stories Dose so you never miss the next chapter of history.